And now, from beyond our dimension, this is the JeffMara podcast. Here's Jeff.
Hello, everybody. Happy Saturday to you. And if you're on the other side of the planet, happy Sunday to you. I apologize about the delay, but we're here and we're ready to go. And we've already got 4 people in the waiting room. And I think this is going to be an incredibly busy night. So let's go ahead and bring in the first person. And it is Amy. And if you want, while we're waiting for Amy, if you want to get in line and join me, all you have to do is go to Zoom. You click join a meeting. Below the meeting is the password or the passcode and the Zoom room ID. So once you click on join a meeting, it'll ask you for the room ID and you just key that in and then it'll ask you for the passcode and you can do the same. Amy.
Hi.
Hello. Are you in the Akashic Records?
That's so funny. I was in a class and I used that background and they said, that's like the Akashic Records. And
yes.
I grew up in a library. My mother worked at a library. And so
that's awesome.
Life
and you're kind of fading in and out with your green screen, so it even makes it more spiritual.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us. Where are you from?
I'm in Kansas. I'm south of Kansas City. So I've been around here my whole life. I grew up in a small town in Kansas that was kind of like Mayberry.
Cool.
And yeah, so I know what that's like, and the good and bad.
So what is you're south of Kansas City in the Kansas side.
Yeah.
What's the name of your town?
Yeah, I'm in, well, I don't know if I should say the town. I'm in Olathe, but it's a suburb. It's kind of, and I'm near a college town, and it's kind of just like, it's nice, you know?
Great.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Well, what do you have to share with us this evening?
Well, I've been trying to think of how I would say this in the, and I have had many lifetimes with John Lennon. And and I wrote a book about it, and during the pandemic, and I had gone through, I'd been through a marriage where narcissistic energy, and I had gone to safe home therapy for 3 years before I was able to get out.
What was that therapy? I'm sorry, what was that therapy?
I went to safe home for women.
Oh,
I went to therapy every Friday at safe home for 3 years.
What is that? What is that? I never heard of that.
It was an option that if I was to leave, and they gave me instructions on how to leave, that I could stay there.
Oh.
But I stuck it out.
Good for you.
As long as I could. And it was basically going to therapy to learn how to be unprogrammed from major gaslighting all through my childhood and in my relationship. And
I'm so sorry. Give me 1 second. I made a big error. No one can see us because I didn't change something.
Oh, that's okay.
Now they'll see us. Sorry, everybody. Every now and then I'll make a mistake, and I just happened to glance over at the chat, and people are saying no picture, no picture.
Oh, no.
Now you're here. All right. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, it's fine. No, but what it during that time, And I'd had experiences with John since, I would say since high school.
So
And
tell us about the first time that you connected with him in this life.
in this life, well, I was in high school, and my friend was like, listen to Strawberry Fields Forever. And I did. And I was like scared because it was so psychedelic and so out there. I was scared.
Mm-hmm.
Then I was 17 and I stayed at my friend's house, and this movie about John was on, and we'd gone to the school dance and all that, and I stayed up late, and this movie was on, and they had cable. And it was him and this homeless guy, and he's like, oh, John, I followed you all over the place, and I just want to know, what were you trying to say in all these songs? And John's like, nothing, I was writing a song. And he's like, come on, I'll feed you. And I thought, and I remember laying in my friend's room thinking, John Lennon talked to this guy like he was a human being. He talked to him on the level. And so I'm 18, I'm sitting in my car, I'm very depressed, I want to end it all. And it's John Lennon's birthday, and the song Imagine comes on, and I'm in my car, and the song Imagine comes on, and it's like the roof of the car peels off, and all this light pours through me, and I start to cry, and I feel John in the car with me. And after that, it was like I was awakened to my true self. And I remember going to the library trying to find everything I could about him. And I found this book called The Lives of John Lennon. And this picture of him it's a crappy book, but the picture of him was like the 1700s poet. And 18 years old, and I'm standing under the halogen lights in the library, and I look in this picture and I'm like, I know this guy. I've been with this guy before. So you go through your life, you live your life, you get married, you have kids, and you do all the things that we do. And I have dreams of him. I have dreams where he's shot and he wants me to hold him. And he asked me, am I going to be okay? And he's bleeding, and something tells me to say to him, yes, you'll be okay, knowing I'm wrong. And he dies. And I think what that was he needed someone to tell him it was going to be okay when he died. And there wasn't anyone to tell him that. And of course, we are okay because we go into our next life and we're reborn. But through all my journeys of finding out, and me finding out, and psychics and all of that, I've learned that I was Alma Coogan. I was a soul seed of his mother, Julia, and I was Alma Coogan. And Alma died too, right after his mother died, and Alma died. And
I'm sorry, one second. Who was Alma in relation to him?
She was a singer in England that he used to make fun of. And when he became famous in the Beatles, they had a romance. And then she died. And I think his mother, Julie, who had died, was going to do a walk-in. This took me many years to figure this out, but it's been consistent that I was Alma. And it's funny, I sang when I was like 14 in a school play. I wanted to sing and do all that stuff. And my mother said afterwards, you had a British accent. Why did you have a British accent? I'm like, I don't know. But now I know. Now I know. And there's just so many coincidences that aren't coincidences, you know.
Do you channel him as well?
Yes.
Do you
could,
Is there any information that you can give us about him that is unknown to the public?
Well, I can tell you this. As far as his life, I could tell he could tell me. He's told me a lot. But one of his biggest past lives was he was a pharaoh in Egypt, and the Beatles, the scarab on the heart, the Beatles, eternal life and love, and rebirth. He did not want to be cremated. He got cremated, and he said, because you don't cremate pharaohs. But he got cremated, and it's okay. It's all okay. But you know, that was a big thing. That he was John Constable, the painter, in like 1700s England. And I feel like he was James Joyce, at least a soul seed of James Joyce. And that his role in life as a Beatle was to evolve. And that he could have been a really, really crappy person his whole life, but he chose to evolve and become a better person. And that took a lot of work. And he was a socialist, but most of all, he was a poet. And he's still a poet. And he's an ascended master for a lot of people.
So you wrote a book about him. What is it called?
It's called John Lennon's Spirit in the Sky. And that's because during the pandemic, and I had seen him on the ground, he had like almost photographic images where he would appear on the ground. And I took pictures of all of it. And it was during the pandemic. April 2nd seems to be an important day for some reason. And it was April 2nd, 2020. I'm outside and I look up, and in the clouds, I see John. And I take a video and I take pictures, and I, work with it and contrast, and it's John. And so I decided to call it Spirit in the Sky, and wrote a book about past lives and him and messages from him.
That's great. Where can people find it?
It's on Amazon.
All right.
Called John Lennon, Spirit in the Sky.
And your name is it under your name or a pen name?
I did it under Alana Feather, and that's kind of my spiritual name. But my name is Amy Saya. I've written music, I write books, and yeah.
Cool.
But the other connection was Queen Mary. I was Queen Mary Scots, and that connects because they took her heart out. And I didn't know that until recently, and that's the connection to the Egyptian thing, where they actually took her heart out and buried it somewhere. And so I'm still figuring all that out.
Do you have a website?
No, I used to. I need to work on that. I don't have one right now.
What about a YouTube channel?
I do. I have, I think it's just called probably Alana Feather.
Alana Feather, Alana?
Alaina.
Okay.
Feather.
Alana Feather. All right. So do you talk about John Lennon on your channel, or what kind of content do you do?
I do. I haven't been on there in a while because I've just been doing other things. I paint and I write. So I need to go on there. I do have an Instagram. It's called Amy Strawberry 9. If anybody wants to go on, I probably am on there more.
All right, cool. Do you paint John Lennon?
Yes, I do. And if you can,
you got one there so we can see it?
I might have to do the whole, I don't know if you could see if it'll, you see?
Wow, that's amazing. You are fantastic.
I ask him, I say, guide my hand. And he guides my hand. And
Wow, you're really talented.
Thank you.
I feel like painting portraits in my opinion, are the hardest things to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because you have to be, you have to get it right to make it look like the person. So you have great talent.
Thank you. It's cathartic.
Well, Alana, I appreciate you coming on and sharing with us. I wish you massive success with your book, and
thank you.
Come back and don't be a stranger.
All right. Yeah. Thanks for having me. I appreciate you letting me come on.
All right. You take care and have a great evening.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Mm-hmm. And a nice round of applause for you, Alana. All right. That was Alana. Next up is Bobby. Let's see what's going on with Bobby. Kind of keep the music not too loud. All right. I can hear her, I think. There you are.
Hello.
Hi, Bobby.
Hi.
How are you today?
Very good, thank you.
Have you been on before?
Never. No.
Never? You just look so familiar. You have one of those familiar... Maybe we've known each other in another lifetime, right?
There you go.
So are you Australian?
I am, yes.
I was trying to see if I could recognize your accent. So it looks like it's daytime over there, so thank you for joining us.
That's all right. I'm actually from New Zealand.
Oh, all right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's close. For me, it's close.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what would you like to share this? I guess it would be this morning for you.
Yeah. Well, I contacted you because I've had, many experiences since I was pretty much born. And most of those experiences have accumulated to right here, right now, and me starting to speak up about a lot of the experiences that I've had. Let
me stop you for 1 second. You said you've had them since you were born. So were you born this way, or did you have an NDE at birth?
No, when I was, I was actually born with the umbilical cord wrapped around my throat.
Yeah, maybe.
But that aside, I do actually remember why. I remember the energy of everything, why I was born that way. The way that I think is totally different to most people. My mum actually could see things in other frequencies, and that gift was handed down to me as well. So I got to see messages through other frequencies throughout, pretty much up until what I still do now, but a lot of them through my 20s and 30s and 40s. And I decided to take the reins of this gift, and I ended up focusing in on humanity's potential, because I had had these really bizarre experiences of actually meeting a Cherokee elder who come from Ohio, and we met in Melbourne one time, and she took my hand and talked to me telepathically. So I realized the potential of humanity wasn't there yet. And so I started to focus in on that. And also through a lot of my experiences, I've been taken into the potential new earth and what that was like. But it wasn't so much, even though we had a lot more gifts, it was the stillness of my mind when I was there that was the most important thing, that has given me a compass to where to go and how to clear my thoughts and my mind enough, or my logical brain enough, to be able to move into something that's at least bringing in the soul's awareness of ourselves and finding balance, and then moving through that. So I've had a lot of these premonition dreams, beings coming to me, all sorts of things throughout my whole life.
You mentioned that you had bizarre things happen to you. What is the most bizarre thing?
Well, we just go straight to that one, right? One of the most bizarrest things that's happened to me is I actually asked to find out the true history of humanity as well. So I had, over the span of 10 years, 4 different species come to me and give me their perspective of the history of humanity, because everyone has their own perspective. One of these beings that came and visited me was actually the Anunnaki, and I don't speak about it that much because there is this kind of push-pull of humanity's consciousness still not, embracing that side of themselves. But when that happened, I woke up and I saw a UFO outside my window that was like an orange ball. It was like an orange light in the shape of a UFO, and it was hanging in the trees outside my window. Now, I see things that others can't see, so I just assumed, okay, that's just an experience that I'm seeing only. But the very next morning, someone in my hometown actually posted it up. Did anyone else see the orange UFO last night? So I knew that it was an actual UFO. And I had been getting these messages of 444 everywhere. Now, I kind of have to take it back 10 years. This is one of those stories that stretch out a little bit. So if we go 10 years previously, I had a massive experience of my whole window imploding inwards. And when it imploded, it shattered the glass. Like, it was a huge explosion. I obviously sat up, and these 4, I'm not religious at all, by the way, but these 4 angelic beings on horseback came galloping in my room above me. And I sat up and said something subliminally. My husband at the time said that I had said, they're coming soon, not just yet. I've been waiting for this one. So then we fast forward now to the 10 years, and I feel like it was these beings that were coming. And there was these specific kind of synchronistic events that were happening as I was being led to a few stories of alignments of planets and all sorts of, and I'm like, I just kind of take all that as a grain of salt, because I want to step into this through more grounded, whatever I see is what I see. But I try to ground things as I go along these stories so that I don't get too caught up in things that I don't feel is right. Anyway, so I ended up that night, the very following night, waking up with these 4 huge beings in my bedroom, and they were kind of cloaked. I couldn't make out their features other than they had this black curly hair. I didn't know at the time that they had anything to do with Anunnaki or anything like that. I just saw these 4 massive beings. So my roof was about 12 feet tall. So they would have stood about 10. And they kind of tested me, because next to me I have my light, and I decided to, well, I just kind of got shown that light didn't exist, because usually if I flick on my light, it gets me out of this alpha state that I'm in, then I can actually, they're not there anymore kind of thing. So I always try to flick on my light, especially if they're really powerful and really scary. But it was like they wanted to test me to see if I could face their power. So I knew that I had to go through them to get to the light behind them and switch on my light of my bedroom. So I sat up and I actually went, excuse me, as I went through these beings to the light on the other side and flicked it on. And then, they kind of disappeared. But then I had all these messages coming through from them that they were the Anunnaki, and they were saying that they recognized that humanity was going through a massive shift at the moment, that they were part of our history. And the part that they played was to bring in agriculture, mathematics, languages, and all of that stuff, because way back then, just after the Atlantis Lemuria time, where we were using the universal language of telepathy, we ended up meddling in our logical brain more, which would mean that we're bringing everything into this world as in a material way. We would work through life only through that. So we were kind of severed from the experience of being able to connect and have our soul's guidance. That means that humanity was going to be looking outside of themselves to look for guidance. And so these kind of godlike beings appeared and then taught us a different way of being able to cope with the material world. And then they wanted to at least say that they recognized that their journey that they went on was at coming to a close, and that if they allowed humanity to expand out of what they taught back into bringing in the soul's connection, then they had purpose of what they did. Their journey was of purpose. So that's pretty out there, but I've got so many out there stories.
Well, I give everybody about 15 minutes, so maybe I'll just ask you a few questions, but I hope you'll come back and share some more with us.
Love to, yeah.
So your roof was 12 foot tall. How tall were these beings?
These beings were at least, I'd say 10. I was in a 100-year-old building, and they had the really tall ceilings at the time. So they were at least 10. They were big, but I even felt that they were bigger than that. It was almost like they had materialized themselves in this other frequency for me to see them as this appearance of being larger than life. Mm-hmm. And then after the fact, I was led to the fallen angel stories, because I was trying to figure out, okay, who are these beings? And I had in my head that window imploding inwards and the angels coming around in my bedroom, which I mean, okay, well, I'll just Google angels, and 4 of them. And then the Anunnaki started to come into the story, because that's apparently the fallen angels. I didn't know anything of this story before. This is all through guidance.
Interesting that you say that, because I don't know about the majority, but quite a few guests will say that when they encounter angels, they're like 10 feet tall. So maybe they're misinterpreting them as angels when they're Anunnaki. Do you think that's possible?
Yeah, and also I've known since there are different, it's not that we've perceived them as angels. We've had to compartmentalize everything. So humanity's good at that, because they're good at using their logical brain. So whenever they see something that's kind of etheric with these wings or whatever showing themselves, it's usually energy that's coming off them. So I've also had encounter with another 4 beings that were Palladian, and they had very see-through, very vivid blue bodies to them, but kind of like looking into the universe through them. If you've ever seen The Knowing with Nicolas Cage, it's at the very end of that movie. These beings were there, and they came to me and told me about some of the future events that were going to happen to humanity before all of this hoo-ha that happened. And also in that Knowing movie, it's really interesting that the teacher in that Knowing movie was P. Taylor, and the elder that I'd met name was Parisha Taylor, and she was our teacher of the Pleiadians. And it was just all these weird synchronicities that happen.
Do you know if there are ETs living on our planet right now that are humanoid looking and we wouldn't even recognize them? Do you know if that's true or not?
I believe that there are some that have come to kind of merge with us, and they will well, the Pleiadians actually look like humans anyway, so they can pass as a human. They're kind of cousins to us. But even so, there are some beings that will want to kind of investigate or see what's going on in the energy alignment with us, and they will move through life. It's that they are that body that they are, but they would already be projected to us that we see them as humans. So there's all these different ways of things happening. It's not just one thing. Yeah.
Well, Bobby, I'm going to have to run here, but before I go, if people want to find out more about what you do and what you're up to, do you have a website or a YouTube channel or what? How should they find you?
So my website is codes-to-a-new-reality.com, and my YouTube channel is Bobby the Messenger.
Cool.
And I also have had profound experiences of meeting oneness. So I channel through oneness now. I can channel through Pleiadians, all sorts of different energies, because I've had so many experiences with different energies.
Do you think you could channel live for us?
Yeah, but my channeling is pretty much, it's just like this. It's like, okay, I'm connected, and then I start to pour through all this information that even I'm like, whoa, that's cool. That sort of thing. I'm not like one of those trance channelers that go and go and lose myself, because I'm really wanting to ground this. I believe that every single human will end up having this ability to be telepathic. In the end, it's returning back to our universal language of connection.
Well, the reason why I ask is because if you're up for it, maybe you can come back next Saturday and you can do a live channeling, and we can let the people in the chat ask the questions, and I'll ask the questions. We've done that before, and maybe you'd be up for it.
Absolutely. I'd love to.
All right, great. Well, listen, I got to run, but I hope to see you next Saturday. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
I really appreciate you, and have a great rest of your weekend.
Thank you.
All right, take care, Bobby.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, so she said she's going to come back next Saturday, so I hope you guys are going to have your questions ready. Next up is Susie. And then we've got Michael Suarez. So we've been really busy so far. And if you've been sitting on the sidelines thinking about coming in, this is your time to get in line. And if you want to join, all you have to do is go to Zoom, click join a meeting, then enter the room ID and passcode, which is in the description below. Hello, Susie. I hear you. I just don't see you yet.
Okay.
We're almost there. You're here.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
Lighting?
How are you?
Well, I'm okay. I obviously wasn't here for the last couple of weeks, although I did watch the show. I've been dealing with a pretty heavy-duty health issue.
No, I hope you're okay.
Yeah, I'm all right. And, you know, that's what I wanted to talk to you about, since you always do paranormal supernatural. So what I wanted to share with you is about my spirit guide.
Oh, how did you
And
first meet your spirit guide?
exactly. Now, I haven't, well, I sort of met him. I'll tell you. I'll give you an example. But what happened was, many years ago, I was an emergency roadside dispatcher. And one day I was looking at the computer and I can see all the drivers on the board. You know, I can see their names and everything. And I noticed a new driver, and his name was Gerald. So I was sitting there at my desk, and my mind went like this. My mind said, oh, wow. For all I know, my spirit guide's name is Gerald, right? And I said that out of the blue for no reason at all. Okay. Well, some time went by, and I happened to go see a psychic. Now, we know that my fiance Brandon passed away, and he's always with me. And I happened to go see a psychic. Now, I live in California, and so I went to Tracy, California, met with a lovely lady, and she tells me, oh, she says, Brandon is on your left. So Brandon was on my left side. And she says, there's a black man behind you. And I said, well, I don't know anyone like that deceased. And she says, oh, no, that's your spirit guide, Gerald. So I about fell out of my chair.
Wow.
I said, wow, you're kidding me, right? Well, anyway, some more time passes. And now, as far as meeting him, this is very interesting. I had a dream, okay? And it was so vivid, Jeff. I was in like a heavenly realm. And I was in this enormous kind of old fashioned, like 70s, 60s, 70s music store with all the vinyl records, you know? And here comes Gerald, and he was absolutely gorgeous. You know, this beautiful black man. And we looked at each other, and I went, oh my God. And he goes, I haven't seen you in forever. And I go, it's been forever. And then I gave him a kiss on the lips, and we just were visiting, and it was amazing. And I knew that that was Gerald. I knew that was my spirit guide.
Wow.
So the reason I'm telling you is this: get ready for this awesomeness, right? So here I've been the last 3 weeks dealing with this health issue. Oh, Lord. So I was in the kitchen the other day, and I was yelling for God, not at God, but I was yelling for God, and I was having a fit. And I said, I'm falling apart. Like literally, I'm falling apart. That's what I said, right? So whatever. So the little tablet that I'm talking to you on, in the evening time, I have an app on here, and for some reason I decided to press it. It's a ghost app, okay? And what you do is the circle comes up, you put your finger in here, and you wait for it, and a bunch of words will come through, right? And yes, it's a joke, okay? It's random, it's not real, but spirit can do anything it wants, okay? And so the words that came up were this. I had to write it down so I could get it right. The words that came up in the spirit box was, don't worry about falling apart. Geraldine. Now it had a Y-N, but Gerald. And I went, oh my God, Gerald, that's my spirit guide. So yeah, I wanted to tell you that.
That's amazing.
Woo, that just, oh gosh, Jeff, that just got to me. That just touched me. Oh, I need to interject this.
Mm-hmm.
You probably have been talking about this, I don't know, over the last, we had a major solar eclipse, okay, in Aries.
I didn't, actually, we haven't talked about that. When was it?
2 days ago, I believe.
No, I didn't hear about that.
Okay, so we had a major solar eclipse, and I'm trying to this is the cautionary information, okay, please. Aries goes with Mars, which is the god of war. So people in your relationships, if you're getting heated and argumentative, because I just went through it, you got to bring it back in. Just calm down. I'm trying to say the energies are very explosive right now. So if you're getting temperamental, try to be like, okay, a lot of this could be this Mars energy. It's very heavy. The Aries energy is very warlike. So that's my little piece of advice. But if you have another minute, I have another little short one.
Sure.
Okay. So this is a little bit fascinating. So when my dad was alive, and this was, I lived with my dad for like 20 years as an adult. And we had a little dog. It was really my dog, but it wound up being my dad's dog. He fell in love with our little dog, little tan Chihuahua. And he named him Menzel. Menzel was about 11, 12 pounds. And when Minsel was about 10 years old, I don't know how to put this, I feel really bad, but I knew Minsel was going to die, and I knew how he was going to die. I took a walk around the block one time by myself, and I saw a couple of kids. They were about 16, 17, and they had a pit bull on a leash, okay? And Jeff, I was probably 60 feet away, and I was yelling, and I said, your dog is going to kill my dog. That's what I said. Your dog's going to kill my dog. And honestly, I don't even know if that was real. Because according to the homeowner, they didn't even have the dog at the time that I said that. So I don't know if I saw a vision or what, but I knew it. So in January of 2014, I told my dad, I said, it's a full moon right now. And I said, it's January. I go, don't take our dog for a walk. And he said, okay, I won't. Well, it turned out he did take the dog for a walk, and our dog was killed by that specific pit bull.
Wow, it's terrible.
And yeah, it ripped my dad up for years. It ripped my dad up. So now I want to fast forward. This is real quick. So in 2020, actually, let me go to 2019. My dad was going through a lot, more than anybody should go through. He fell down the stairs. He was going through many, many things. Now, I was sitting in the chair with my cup of coffee. I'm always astonished by the stuff, I look into my cup of coffee, and the creamer is literally 100% perfect shape of a human skull. So my mind went, oh my God. So that I said, someone's going to die. It's either me or my dad, and I know it's not me. Okay. And 6 months later, of course, my dad passed away in January of 2020, right? Mm-hmm. But just before that, okay, my dad had a heart attack January 13th. And I forgot to tell you that after Minsel died, my dad did the heroic thing. He went to Berkeley. He got a cute little dog, just like Minsel, almost identical to Minsel, and named him Poldy. And Poldy was adorable, okay? So when my dad was in the hospital dying, and we didn't know he wasn't going to survive, but my dad was in the hospital. And I came home, and I put the key in the door, and I opened the door. And Jeff, normally Poldy would greet me or whatever. But when I walk in the door, I see Poldy, but he's acting weird. He's spinning, he's running around me like a crazy dog, right? And so I'm trying to catch him. I'm like thinking to myself, puppy, why are you so excited? You're never like this with me. He was never like that with me. He would come and greet me, but not like that. This Poldy was just spinning and spinning and spinning. And I was trying to catch him, and I couldn't catch him. And all of a sudden he runs in the living room, and Jeff, he vanished. My dad's dog vanished. So I started screaming, and I'm sorry I'm loud, but I get hysterical when I think about these things. Okay. And I'm telling myself, I go to grab the phone because I'm thinking, do I call 911? But what am I going to tell him? What am I going to tell my dad? He's going to think I'm crazy. His dog just literally vanished into thin air. So I'm running around the house. I'm like, I can't call 911. They'll think I'm nuts. So I'm like, Poldy, where are you? Where are you? And it takes forever. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, our sweet little dog, he comes out from behind the curtains, he was sunning himself or sleeping or something. And he looks at me, he's very groggy. He's like, what? He's looking at me. And Jeff, it was Minsel, because my father was in the hospital dying. His dog came and let me know. He's like, I'm here, right? And I still didn't believe it. I said, that's impossible. Well, my father was dying. He came home from the hospital. And then I thought to myself, well, gee, I wonder, if Minsel's going to come here. Because my dad in the hospital said that he saw him. At that time, I didn't see the dog, but I believed him. I said, yeah, Dad. I said, Minsel's with you. So then I thought, well, is he going to come back? So in the in-between, I come home again. I open the door, and no joke, there's Minsel, solid as you can be, running around again. And this time I proved it in my mind, because he went into the couch and vanished. So when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, that was our dog.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, so I thought I'd tell you those two. Those are my two supernatural stories for today.
Well, Susie, thank you for coming and sharing. We appreciate you, and I wish you a great rest of your weekend.
Thank you, and I appreciate you and Mara very much. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful weekend, Jeff.
All right, you too.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, that was Susie. Next up, we have Michael. Let's see what Michael's got going on today. Michael is the dream detective, for those of you who are new. And we'll see if he has a dream to analyze today. Hello, Michael. How are you?
Hey, how are you, sir?
You're in low. You're in dark. You're in the dark today.
Ah, hold on. I didn't know it was that dark.
That's all right.
There
There you go. Is it still cold up there?
No, we're like 66, close to 60, 65 degrees. So
Oh, nice, nice.
not bad at all. It definitely starting to, yeah, I definitely spent some time sitting in the park today, which is what I like to do.
Oh, great. Well, what do you want to talk about today? You have a new dream to analyze for us, or?
I'm gonna pause on dreams,
Mhm.
and I want to just share some of the spiritual testimonies I've had.
Mhm.
I think you'll find them interesting, and of course, I do think they'll be edifying, right?
Okay.
There's a scripture that talks about when you testify, it's strength to you, and it's strength to the people that are hearing it. I mean, again, that's kind of what your channel is all about.
Right.
So I'm just going to share a few quick ones. You keep me on time, but I'll be mindful.
Sure.
One of the first things I want to share actually was not a supernatural. It's not, and yet it is supernatural. And this is a quick story from when I was 5. This is my first sort of, I would say, almost my testimony of the Creator. When I was 5, I was walking with my mom up the hill and I was looking all around at like the trees and the birds and stuff like that. And I was like, hey, Mom, who made everything? And she said, she got caught off guard, of course. She was like, well, God made everything. And I was like, oh. And then I paused and I was like, but who made God? And she said, well, sweetie, no one made God. And I was like, oh, right? Like it blew my mind. And I'll tell you a strange testimony. I believe now that it is very possible that the answer to that is you did, Michael. There's a sense in which that there's a truth to that. That would be certainly the most amazing thing, wouldn't it? Right? Like the idea that we get veiled. And yet, it is also a testimony in itself of, I mean, I wasn't a philosophy major yet, and yet looking outside at the world, looking at the trees and the birds, made my little soul say, who made everything? That is to say, the designer was implied by the design, even for a little child. So for me, that always is a very strong testimony. I don't know. I know 1 or 2 people have mentioned that has happened to them, but again, maybe not that many. But it sort of makes sense that I ended up being a philosophy major.
Yeah, it does make sense.
Right? So anyway, that's one example of just something that, happened to me. I'm going to share these other ones. Thankfully, I feel like the Spirit knows how to distribute these, because I feel like I have these intense experiences every few years to sort of keep me on track, right? And there's a few of them, and they're very powerful, but they're not like, oh, this happens to me all the time, right? Which makes it more sort of valuable and impressionable and something to learn from. One of the deepest things that I've ever experienced, and I thank God that the Spirit speaks with this testimony, is I had a vision. Right. And this is how I actually learned what a vision was, like almost when people talk about it on their NDEs. It was almost like a video opened up and then I saw the thing. So I was in church this time and I was like in worship.
Uh-oh. We lost him. We'll see if he's coming back. I'll wait a moment. And while I'm waiting, I want to say thank you to Beth Thuer. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing your name properly, Beth, but thank you so much for that super thanks. And Maybe he was, it looked like his computer was lagging a little bit or glitching. It looked like it was glitching out. So maybe what I'll do is I'll bring Debbie in and we'll go from there. I don't see him back yet. I've seen someone kind of crash before, then all of a sudden they're back. See, there he is.
Okay. I don't know what happened, Jeff.
You crashed? Yeah, all of a sudden you were gone. I was going to say, sometimes that happens and people come back when you're back. You just had an NDE. Okay. You had a Zoom NDE.
Yes, resurrected.
You're back.
I don't know where I got up to. I was just about to share the vision?
I think so.
Okay. Are we good?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. All right. So in this vision, in reality, I was in church physically. And I said, I pressed in, it was like very deep, almost like a very deep meditation or like a dream when you forget where you are. And as that was happening, all of a sudden, in like an instant, this video, almost like a rectangle, opened up in front of me, except it was all I was seeing now, right? And I was watching myself in the same church, and I was going around going, where's Jesus? Where's Jesus? Where's Jesus? And I kept asking, and people in the vision were like trying to like, and it was all women, were trying to pull on me and like, hey, Michael. They kept trying to get my attention. And I was ignoring them going, where's Jesus? Where's Jesus? Where's Jesus? And then finally, I knew there was like a crowd. I saw this little crowd and I knew he was like right on the other side of them. So I took this giant step and I was like, whoa. And when I stepped there was a mirror there. Hallelujah. Gloria a Dios. Sí, Señor. So there was a mirror there. And now this is one of the ways I knew what a vision was, because that surprised me, right? Like I was in another realm and then it closed and I was just like back and I was like, whoa. And that has definitely been one of the most powerful testimonies of my life. Like the scripture talks about it a lot, right? It says, know ye not that you are the temple of the living God and God's spirit dwells within you. But this has, but people still ignore this and they act like it's somewhere else. And for me, that was the great pointing that what we are going to discover will be the sacredness of consciousness, right? Christ inside of you. The scripture literally says all over the place, Christ in you, the hope of glory. So it's, again, that's a major testimony or a major point that's always in my heart.
Well, Michael, thank you for sharing that experience with us. If people want to find out more about you or dream analysis, do they do that through do you have a website or a YouTube channel?
You can connect pretty easily through the through YouTube, or you can DM me on IG. But I have what's called a digital portfolio, which again, you can just by going on my page, Creative Learning New York, you can see, and then click on it. You can see some of what I sent you. It has samples, has feedback from people. So.
And what is the title of your book again?
My first book on dreams is The Purpose and Power of Dreams. The second book was Dream Detective, Volume 1. And I'm working on Dream Detective Volume 2, the sexy version. There
you go. Well, that'll be interesting.
Yeah,
Michael,
yes.
I'm going to run. I've got 2 people waiting on me, but thanks for coming and sharing with us. We wish you the best.
Always a blast. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, and have a great rest of your weekend.
Appreciate you.
All right. Thank you. Take care. And that was Michael. So now we'll bring Debbie back. And, where was that? Gizmo, love your coffee mug. Thank you, Gizmo. We've got 3 of them. This is one of them. And, my beloved here has another one. And then there's one that you can see today that's, I think it's somewhere right there around the YouTube video. It's been pinned. In case you guys are interested in having a JeffMara podcast mug. And it looks like Debbie is there, but we have to ask her to start the video. Debbie, can you hear me? Maybe she doesn't. We don't know. Maybe she's getting a cup of coffee and she's not in front of her computer. Well, wait a minute. All right, so tomorrow's video is of a guy, and together we did a chakra, I can't remember how he called it, a chakra balancing reorganization live. And it's an energetic chakra healing or something. And we did that together, and he says it still works. Even though you guys weren't there live, you can do it along with the video tomorrow. So I hope you guys will enjoy that. That'll be tomorrow night's video. And along with the video, he talks about energetic neurolinguistic programming. So it's like NLP, neurolinguistic programming with extra stuff, you know? But I think, like I said, maybe you guys will check out that. You'll like the chakra balancing. Should I look at my notes or should I go to Bay? Maybe, oh, there she is. She's here. Debbie, can you hear me? No, we can't hear you. Let's see something. I don't know if it's, I thought it's there. It shows that your microphone is on. Shows on the Zoom that you're on. Do you have your mic muted? So sometimes it will say, you know, if that little microphone next to your name wasn't there, we would know that your audio isn't connected, but it's connected because that microphone is there. What if I mute you, and then I'm going to ask you to unmute, and we'll see what happens. Can you see unmute? Okay, you unmuted, but no, I'm not getting any sound from you. When you talk and you look at your microphone in your Zoom window, do you see like the green moving up and down your microphone? Nope. So that means that your microphone is not connected to Zoom for some reason. You need to go into your audio settings and make sure your mic's connected. So this might be interesting for you guys because this is like a podcast sometimes. Like when I record them, when I have a guest on, almost every day, I've got to kind of like, we have something that we got to, excuse me, we've got to like get it all set up. You know, like there's like a little glitch or something's happening with every guest before we actually start recording. So if you want to know, you know, a little backstory to what I do, that's some of it. Before I even get started with a guest, we have to kind of like figure stuff out. So that would be my guess, is that your mic is not connected. Although your Zoom is connecting the audio, it's showing that your mic, and if you look at the bottom of your screen, if you're on a PC on the left side, there's a microphone and there's an arrow, and if you click on that, then you can click on audio settings and open up your window. I guess you guys can see this. Oops. Like this, right? You open up your audio settings, and then you can go right here and choose your mic. And so that's maybe what's going on for you, is you haven't got your mic chosen. That's my best guess. But this is what I'm going to do. And you should be able to test your microphone too. If you go back to that, that's not it, my audio. If you go back to your audio settings, there's a thing right here where you can test your microphone, right? So what I want you to do is I'm going to put you back into the waiting room. I'm not kicking you out. I'm just going to have you test it while I go to the next person. All right? Hopefully we'll see you soon. Wait, I didn't want to do removed. I want to put in waiting room. So I put her back. Yeah. Just for some reason her mic wasn't working. I have a feeling that her mic wasn't connected to it. That's my best guess. All right, next up is Bay.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Jeff. Do you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Just don't see you yet.
Well, would it be okay? I read in the comments that it's okay to not do video. Could I just stay with audio?
Sure. All right. What do you got?
Thank you so
Where are
much.
you from, and what would you like to talk about?
I'm from Germany, and
Oh wow!
I think
Thanks for staying up so late with us.
I'm in Puerto Rico right now, so it's a perfect time actually.
All right. What would you like to share?
I think I want to share my research of the past few weeks and maybe a little bit about my life.
Okay.
Yes, and I'm a little bit nervous because I usually don't talk to, an audience anymore.
Well, it's just you, me, and 277 of your closest friends. How about that?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for saying that.
And they all want to hear your story. We're all rooting for you.
So I think there's a lot to my story, and I think today would just be a really small glimpse. And I think I want to, like I said, focus on the research of the past 6 weeks. And I was exposed to the Ohio train derailment. Did you hear about that by any chance?
About the what?
The Ohio train derailment.
Oh,
There was
okay. Is that the one where they had like I don't know, toxic chemicals within the train that spilled everywhere or something?
Exactly, and they did something like they called it a controlled burn, but the vinyl chloride actually turned into phosgene, and phosgene was used as a First World War bomb,
Yeah,
and was decided after to not use it anymore. Yeah, so
I don't know anything about that. I didn't really, as far as I know, I mean, what I said about the toxic spill is all I kind of kept up with. And what I'm surprised is recently there's been other train crashes. It's like I think there's been a couple more. So that's pretty wild.
Yes, so it's not only this what I want to talk about exactly. So I'll just start with so I am connected to my higher consciousness. I can do channelings, and it sometimes is a little slow. So I don't think I want to do this publicly right now, nor anytime soon. Sometimes it's faster, but my connection to the higher consciousness is very similar to any NDE.
Right.
There's nothing, nothing out of the ordinary there, I'd say, for me. But what I want to say is when I was born, I felt, as a child, I felt very displaced on this planet. And I felt very much like, oh my God, I was in shock when I saw humans interact and when I saw how humans behaved towards Earth and towards animals. And my first reaction then, as really young, like 10, I considered suicide for a really long time because I literally just couldn't stand what was going on. And I saw things like, for example, my mom she would open a yogurt jar, like not a glass jar, like a plastic thing. And then there was this like metal stuff and she would lick the top off. And I knew that was toxic. And I knew how like people spoke to each other, like with so much anger and miscommunication. And I knew like everything is just supposed to be love, like just everything and every interaction. And so my story is a little bit like I was kept on being suicidal as a teenager and had a lot of crazy experiences. But at some point, and decided I don't know how to use my own life for myself. I'm going to use it for other people and people who want to live, because I didn't know how I want to live or why. I was, this middle-class German person. So I decided to become a political activist. And in those days, then all the things that I could feel, all my research, not the research, actually, the research came after, all the things I could download, like how it's not right to eat animals, right from the plate. And especially like, it's totally fine to eat animals, but at that time, the mass production of animals and just the things that they put in there, I could just pick up on the toxins everywhere. I could pick up on the toxins in the tap water. I just knew there was something going on where we were being poisoned.
Do you think, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but do you think you're a starseed?
Yes, very much. I'm a starseed. And I do remember, if this is correct, I do remember the excitement and my yes to coming here. And I think I picked up on this vibration that the world is struggling. And this is what I want to talk about, that I believe that I call them earthlings currently, the humans that have been here maybe many, many times already, and with incarnation and all those things. This feels more like my first life. I've done so many sessions, and I was born with a dark violet aura, which supposedly is a really rare thing. And I think I want to go back to the poisoning, if that's okay, before I go too much into my own story. Like I said, there's a lot to me, but I think what I really want to share is this aspect that when I was a teenager and I became a vegan at that time, and nobody knew what the word vegan meant. People said, "Oh, you only eat eggs," and I was like, "No, it's about treating animals respectfully and not killing them." And now I'm back to eating animals, but I like to do it in the most conscious way possible. But where I want to go with all of this is, at that time I did a lot of research just on. I think maybe a lot of us came across strange things like the Illuminati and Rothschild and all kinds of crazy stories. And I thought, oh, very, very interesting, but it was too much. I don't know, I just didn't go down the road of researching it more. But when what I can say about me is that I do think I have a resonance with truth in myself. And when 9/11, when those planes went into the Twin Towers, I knew in that moment that something isn't right. This isn't about a terrorist attack. And the moment that they came down within those 11 seconds, I knew this was a controlled demolition. And I usually find the things that I can sense, I find them a short time later, usually on YouTube or somebody else is talking about it. It's like I like to have this confirmation, I guess, in my life. And so I saw then architects and people who do controlled demolitions, just sharing. They take between 7 and 11 seconds, and this is how we do it. And you see it clearly, with the World Trade Center, da, da, da. So I knew, okay, there's so much control of humanity, and nothing in the news is true, like literally nothing. It's all just a fabricated story. There's a lot of drama going on, da-di-da-di-da. So so this is how I walked through life, always. And in the past years before COVID came, I knew about COVID, and the year before it happened, I heard about a quarantine in Munich for 3 weeks, and I knew that this was something bigger. So I started to try to see as much as I could. And there, I didn't download the full picture. And I don't think I still have downloaded the full picture, but I would be super interested if other people actually see more than what I'm going to share now. Because it's very challenging for me to face all of those things. So what I downloaded before COVID became a pandemic was that this is, it is a virus, but it's more of a cold, and it will be an economic event, and things will change on the planet through this. They will bring changes in. And I was very amused by a few changes. Like I wanted everybody to back off from me physically, like the 6 feet apart was, I loved it. And I wanted anonymous travel for myself, and I got it. And I didn't like the mask. I knew that they were completely, they help a little bit, but not much. But I also thought that the numbers were really falsified. Like I knew, because I studied medicine, everybody dies of a virus in the end in their life. If they have an immune deficiency, if they have cancer, if they just die of old age, a virus takes over in the end. And it's usually a really harmless virus. Like we carry them on our nose, like adenovirus, rhinovirus. And then they take over and they give us symptoms of, multi-organ failure and lung infections and all those symptoms that were going on. So I knew that the same amount of people are still dying that always died, but the whole story around it was very, very, I mean, as per usual, me and the media, I just was like, oh my God. And so many people are believing in it. And I think I need to cut myself short because I want to go into the last 6 weeks of my life right now.
Let me stop you for a second there. Are you a medical doctor?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, but I'm also an alternative. I went into the alternative field. I had to be studying the medical regular field to be licensed in what I'm licensed in. And that is more the alternative field. So I did Chinese medicine, some Japanese medicine, Ayurvedic
Wow,
medicine.
that's fascinating
Then,
that you
yes.
that you switched from allopathic medicine to alternative.
No, I really started into the alternative. I had to be a licensed practitioner. I had to do the Western field. I had to learn every disease. I had to learn every muscle, every nerve, and we had to be tested to that I'm allowed to do what I'm doing, which is when you do acupuncture in a few countries, you're literally almost like a surgeon because you could kill someone. So that's why it's like you have to have a specific degree to be able to practice in a practice. And, you know, with insurance, I have the insurance of a surgeon. And that's in the past because I did go into the field of quantum physics. Did go into the field of law of attraction. And that was, I love it. I mean, I'm absolutely with it. And I do want to go there too. I'll try. I sadly didn't check my time. How many minutes do I have left?
I don't know. I'm probably going to have to leave here in a minute. I've got 3 people waiting on me. So do you have one last message for us before we go? And you're welcome to come back next week.
Then I think I need to come back next week because I haven't literally even started what I wanted to talk about, which is the last 6 weeks I have done some research, and I'll just try to summarize it in what is going on this planet. And it is from many hazardous train derailments to egg farms that are blowing up to all food farms that are blowing up. So all those things that I felt as a child growing up, thinking everything is poisoning and they're trying to kill me, it is quite publicly done. If you start to research Masonry, Freemasons, they want the world population to be under 500 million people. And they very publicly stated their whole monuments about it, their old books about it. And this is a bit of a mass genocide. And I don't want to be saying let's all only focus on this. I do think though it's very important to know what's going on with the tap water, what's going on with the food, that they just allowed genetically laboratory made meats. They're vaccinating plants like spinach and kale at this point that we're eating as a vaccination that produces spike proteins. There's a giant rise in strokes and heart failures and so on and so forth. Children are being vaccinated to a crazy degree. So there's just, so I believe, because I'm looking there for 6 weeks nonstop, I think one way is that we need to know what's going on. All of us, we need to learn to talk about it, even though it's so uncomfortable. We're looked at conspiracy quack.
Right, I was going to say that, and I'm sorry to stop you, that my podcast is more about sharing the human experience and sharing the paranormal and supernatural experiences that people have. And so I don't really generally get into to kind of the degree of the things that you are talking about. I'm not saying it's, you know, that's not important. I'm just saying that's usually what we don't cover. We cover like people's spiritual and paranormal experiences. So I would love to hear, you know, what kind of experiences you have had.
Lots of them. It's there was this thing where you had Steve Jobs on for his, you know, channel, and he said it too. He said, "I don't give a flying fuck about Apple right now. There is something crazy happening to humanity, and you all need to wake up and talk about it." And I believe us in the spiritual field and people who know we are creating every moment, people who have downloads, people who can connect to God, people who have had NDEs. I believe I just want to say, I heard Dolores Cannon again as talking about the Antichrist too. She said 5 minutes a day on focusing on a different world. If we all do this actively, just 5 minutes a day can stop what they've planned, because that is in planning right now, from the next pandemic to fake alien invasions and so on and so forth, that where we might all be affected. I believe, and that's why I came on right now, is I know we can talk about those other experiences for sure. I've had so many. I've had those crazy Reiki initiations. I've spent a lot of time in India. I believe we could do some regular real channeling.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, if you can channel too, that would be great. I'm so sorry. I've got to run. I have 3 people waiting on
run
me.
off. Thank you
But
so
I
much
hope
for
to see
listening,
you
Jeff. That was fun.
we hope to hear you next week. And I'd like to hear
Yes.
about, maybe you can channel for us live.
Maybe I will. I mean, maybe I need to think about it. Okay, why not? I'll see. I think about it. Well, have a wonderful week.
All right.
Thank
You
you
too.
for doing what you're doing.
All right. Thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right. And that's a big round of applause for her. And before this slips by me, I want to give a thank you to Jack Dawson. Wow. Thank you so much for that, Jack. We really appreciate your super thanks. And it says, may the deepest peace be with you, JeffMara and all. So thank you again, Jack, for your generosity. All right, let's see if we can bring Deborah back in, if she's got her mic going now. Deborah, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, what a nightmare. I swear, the more technology we get, the harder it is.
Well, it was, we got it figured out. We usually do. As I was telling people before, this is like me recording one of my guests. I mean, we have to troubleshoot stuff almost every single day. I'm used to it. Maybe the guests get nerved or rattled by it, but I'm always like, I tell them this happens every single day, so don't worry about it. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Well, I was using a speaker, before, so I unplugged the speaker, and I've never used, Zoom where I'm talking and you can hear me. So I had to go into settings and switch some things around. So anyway,
well, I'm glad you made it. And great. Where are you Zooming from?
Hacienda Heights, California.
Where is that?
In between Los Angeles and Pomona. Best way to put it.
Pomona. Okay, I know Los Angeles. Okay, I've spent time in Glendale and Pasadena. Where is Pomona?
East of that.
East of that. Okay, so that's like the valley then, right?
Well, not that far out. It's closer, but yeah, we're right next to Los Angeles. So.
Cool. That's all like one big area to me. I mean,
it is.
It's just one. I guess the city of I guess technically the city of Los Angeles isn't that big, but it's all those other little places. Right?
Yeah. Yep.
Well, what do you have to share for us this evening?
Okay, I wanted to show you. You had Kim on with the Orb Whisperer.
Yes.
It was really interesting watching her because everything she said was absolutely true. Everything. I experienced everything that she had, and I have the security cameras as well, and that's when I first noticed them. And it's the night vision that catches them.
Wow.
And I started communicating with them, and they started communicating back, but I backed off a little bit.
Now,
I'm a little more cautious.
Do you have video on your computer that you want to screen share with me or something?
Yes, I actually just got a tablet.
Awesome.
So, because my friends were telling me, get a tablet so you can show it better than on your phone.
Okay, so when you're ready, let me know and I'll turn on the screen share and we can all check it out. I wish we've got to get one of you orb communicators to get an orb to appear with us live.
I probably
that would be amazing.
Next weekend I'm going to be out of town, but after that, and I'd rather do it in this setting, because I'm still digesting all of this. Because, like I said, when they started responding, it's this is pretty, it's serious. I don't. We don't really know exactly who they are, but I do also get the same feeling that she does. I'm looking for one in particular.
Okay, while you're looking for that, I was going to say that I recorded a podcast this morning with a near-death experiencer, and he saw himself as an orb during his NDE. So it's cool. And he's also an electrical engineer, so it was nice to have someone that wears that hat to get his viewpoint on it. So I think that was really neat.
There's I have 2 places in the house where I have security cameras. I take care of my stepdad. He's elderly and he falls out of bed. So that's how it started. And then when I started seeing them, I started observing them. And then it took time. This has been going on over 6 months. And like I said, when I started communicating with them, just like Kim said, they do respond, and they did communicate back. And
Okay.
I was not afraid of them, but I just backed off a little bit, and then that's when it slowed down. But I have my friend on this. So what I did was I don't want to put one in my room. So I put another camera in a spare room. So there's a lot of stuff on the bed and stuff. We've got stuff in there. I took my friend in, and I'm talking to her about, they come flying in here. See, the ones I have, they come from a certain place outside. I noticed they're attracted to electricity and the cable box. I just watch them. They go by there, and I can tell they're attracted to it. There's been times where hundreds have poured in one corner of the room and out to another. It's like a certain direction.
Now, do you
in the room? Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but do
No,
you
go ahead.
see these with your naked eye or only on the camera?
Only on the camera. But when I first started noticing them on the camera, and I was all into it, and I obsessed almost, I was freaking out, and I was thinking about them all the time. I started seeing them with my naked eye.
Wow.
And then I didn't want to. And just like she said, they are little sparks. But I didn't want to see them all the time with my naked eye. I don't exactly know if they're in every room. I know they're coming from a certain place in the back. They come into the slider. There's a certain area. I mean, it's long ongoing, but I've been observing them, and there's certain areas they're coming from. But anyway, there's a spare room. I walk in, I'm talking to my friend, and I'm telling her about them. And I tell them, say hi to my friend. And this is the first time that a bundle, they go up to her and they back off.
Cool.
This is just one. I've got so many. I'll just show you just this one real quick.
All right.
And I want to make it, I want to enlarge it all the way.
Okay.
How do I enlarge it?
I don't know, but I've already set it up for you to share screen. So if you
So I just put it up like this?
Well, I thought you were going to share. Can you share screen from your Zoom? Do you see somewhere in your Zoom it says share? At the bottom of Zoom on a computer, it says share screen. Do you see that? Does that give you the option?
The one where I'm watching you?
Okay. Do you see here? If you look at me, I mean, can you see me? Right here, I have share screen. Do you have something like that on yours?
Yeah.
Then click it. On yours, click it. All right, we'll see if it. We'll see. Maybe it'll take. Usually it comes right up, but maybe it'll take a minute since you're on a tablet.
Yeah, I got you up in the corner, but how do I put this up? I thought I was going to show it.
Oh, it's okay.
I don't know how else to do it.
I've made it where you're allowed to share screen. Usually you just click you click on the share screen button, and then you start sharing, and I see what's on your tablet.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Yeah, so I can just look at like I'm looking at your tablet.
No, I can see you, but and I see other stuff. There's a whiteboard.
Maybe you
Spotify.
can't. Maybe you can't share screen with it. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I've had somebody share screen with me with their phone. I don't see why you can't do it with your tablet. What does it do when you click on the share screen?
I have there's a pop-up, and there's a screen. It has you in there. And then there's a whiteboard next to it. There's a square that says iPhone. There's a Spotify. There's a Get Help. There's a Bing. There's settings. There's like all different things on here. I think I see. If I tap on one, I can, and then push share.
Yeah.
But you know what? I don't have my, this put in there. Like, how would it,
Well, your video's on. Are you going to show us is it a video file on your thing, or is it on YouTube?
Gosh, I have so many. I'm just going through them. There are just so many.
Can you hold it up to me so I can look at it?
Yeah, let me just show you this one I just popped in just because I'm going around. I mean, this is just one that, can you see it? Right.
I'm going to take myself out of the video so we see you even bigger. All right. So let's see.
Should I go out of the share?
No, it doesn't. Yeah, you're not sharing anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Okay. It won't.
So let's see if you
can.
Let's see if you can put your iPad up there so we can see it.
Okay, this is just one. This is empty though. I just walked out. Can you see me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can you see the screen?
Yep, perfect.
Okay, this is just some of them flying. This is just random. This is just one I just popped in where they're flying around. Can you see them flying around?
Yep.
But I wanted to show you the one where they come up to me and my friend. Oh, they pour in. See that?
Mm-hmm.
I can just tell the reflection which one it is.
Yeah, I can see them flying in the room.
Yeah.
Let's see the one where you're talking about. They just go to your friend.
Yeah. Well, yeah. there's one where there's a bundle goes to her. Okay,
So
let me see.
does it, are you saying in the video, hey, go to my friend, and then they all do it?
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
There's one, oh my gosh, there's one that I want to set up for you. I'll do it next time when I have more time and I'm better at this. You know, this is just the first time and I'll get better. I just got the tablet too, so it's all
All right.
new. I'll get better at it and I'll set it all up, and I don't mind sending them to you if you want to. But I mean, there's one where I'm talking to them and one flashes it right next to me. I can't see it with my naked eye, but I saw it after. Okay. Here's the one where, okay, it goes pretty quick. So I wish I could make it full screen. I know there's a way. I'm tapping it, but I don't want to lose it again.
That's all
All
right.
right, I'm gonna start it. Okay. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, watch her. Watch next to her. I'm talking, blah, blah.
I saw one fly out.
Yeah, just watch.
Are you
Watch it.
seeing those with your naked eye at the time?
No, no. Did you, I can't tell which, did you see the bundle?
No, I didn't.
Okay, let me see. Okay. Now, this is the one. While I'm talking to her, look at the bottom of the screen. So, you know, the other ones are flying around, but watch at the bottom of the screen.
Okay.
It's so cute. I've never seen two together like that. My hand goes out and yeah, this is the one. Okay, they go right up to her. Oh my God, her daughter just passed away. So we were thinking, I was asking if her daughter was around. So I don't know, but okay, watch at the bottom of the screen. They pop out. Can you see it good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Lift it up a little higher. You're going too low. There you go.
okay. Watch at the bottom. Now see the other ones, they're there. They're always there. Now, right about now, they'll bounce right up to her and bounce back. Right there.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Isn't that cute? Now, you know what? I have these, so many of these. I pause them and I enlarge. I see faces. One of them, it looks like a total cat face. We have animals buried in the back. I mean, there's, oh my gosh,
Why do you think the orbs are attracted to you?
I don't know if it's necessarily me, but it's really strange. There's, first of all, I'm taking care of my stepdad and, you know, he's ill. So we were, you know, of course you can assume maybe they're there for him, but I think there's too many of them to be here for just me or just him. Now, coincidentally, my dog passed away right before I started noticing them. And so I thought maybe there was a connection, but you know, who knows, really. There's just so many of them. You know, if there was just a few, like what I showed you is just a few. I mean, I'm not kidding. There's like over 50, 100 at a time. And I just think there's just too many. They're coming from like outside into the slider. I just want to show you.
Now, there's some people that will say those are not orbs. That's just dust.
Well,
How would you
Okay.
how would you say that? Yes, they are. I'm not disagreeing with you. What would be
No, I
your
know.
rebuttal to them?
Well, I wouldn't bother, but dust doesn't bounce, whirl, dance, move on command. You know, like Kim said. I mean, yeah, no, there's you can tell. You know, it's not dust. The ones that I have, nobody thinks they're dust.
Well, someone in the chat says they're attracted to you because you have such wonderful energy.
Oh my gosh, they're gonna make me cry. Thank you. I don't know, but I've always been sensitive and I've always kind of been afraid, you know, and you had a guest on just the other night. Oh no, it was one of these. And she was talking about sleep paralysis. Well, I have gotten those and it's horrible and it's scary. I researched it and it really is in our mind, that's what they say, and it is a negative experience. And I wanted her to know, you know, that it's not really demons because they scared me too. And but and I was going through a lot right before the orbs, I started noticing them. I was going through a lot. And then as soon as I started noticing them, I'm telling you, I feel so much better. You know, I'm not afraid anymore. I haven't had any sleep paralysis, and I thank them all the time.
Hmm.
You know, I mean, they come up to me. I mean, oh gosh, I should just show you another video. I'm going through these, and it's like, you know, that one girl, Kim, she had like stills.
Mm-hmm.
This is a still. I mean, you can still shot, and this is just a still of one. Can you see it? I mean, I can still shot a bunch, but you see
Right.
that one big, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that's that. I mean, that, you know, that's when it was drizzling. I have a camera outside too because I noticed they were coming from outside into the slider,
Mm-hmm.
and so I put one out there, and it seems like they know when I'm watching live because one will come and then more will come, and they like bounce in front of the camera, like right where the camera is. They'll go in and out, and like they're ice skating, like they'll spin around.
It would be cool if you could do what the orb whisperer did and put out your hand and see if they'll high five you.
I know. My daughter did that. We were in the spare room. I brought my daughter in too, and they did come around. I'm just, you know, I'm just a little bit more cautious. I think I'm more observing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I don't have fear, I'm just careful. I think,
Yeah.
you just got to be careful with
Right.
these things, and there's so many. It's
Mm-hmm.
almost like a portal. If there's a portal, couldn't other things come through the portal?
Yeah.
Because
Well,
yeah.
I was
I
going to
mean,
say, some people think that the other side is right here too. It's just in a different frequency. So,
Dimension,
yeah.
right? True, could be, but we all don't know for sure. That's the thing.
Right.
You know, I don't. But I want to show you one where.
All right. I've got
they're all
time for
pouring in.
one more because I've got 3 people waiting on me. But you're
Oh
welcome
my
to come back
gosh.
next week and show us some more.
Yeah,
I'm
you know
here
what I'll
every
do.
Saturday.
It'll be the one after because I'm going to be out of town. But and then you know what I'll do? I'll have it all ready.
Yeah.
I'll have them all ready. I'll have stills. I'll have the ones where they're pouring in. I'll even show you where they were playing in the rain, and you could tell it's not drops. You can see the rain, and you can see them going down the rafters and going up and around and up and around. I'm not kidding. They
That'll
are
be cool.
childlike.
That'll be cool.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. Well, you know, it took us the first time to just get your mic set up, and so
I know.
we got you set up for next time.
And you know what? I'm going through my hair, but it's like, it's weird. It's like, which one do I put up?
Right. That's
all
okay.
right.
All right, Debbie.
All right. Not this Saturday, the following Saturday.
Right.
All right.
All right. Have a great 2
I love
weeks.
you guys.
We love you too. Take care.
All right.
And a big round of applause for Debbie. That was great. They got to see some orbs today. And next is Timothy Smith. And we'll see what's going up with Timothy. Now, I think Tim was here last Saturday. From Sedona, if this is Tim from Sedona. Kind of looks like Harrison Ford. Did you hear that? Did anybody ever tell you that? You kind of look like Harrison Ford?
Well, that's a good compliment.
Yeah. All right. Now, we talked last week that you were going to screen share some stuff with us, right?
Right. I got it ready to go, baby.
All right. So let me allow you to share your screen.
Okay. You tell me when you want me to hit it.
Go ahead. You're ready to share. So you hit share screen.
All right.
All right. So set it up for us. What are you going to be showing us?
So this was the one that you wanted to see. This was the water bottle that was levitating off the ground in Sedona, and the vortex came through, and the bottle lifts off the ground.
Oh, yeah. All right. This is going to be cool. Now, give me 1 second. I need to see how this... I want to see how it's looking out on our computer real quick. Okay, I think we're good. All right, let it play.
Okay. The bottom will stand up. There it is, right there. There it is, right there.
I think what's happening is on my end, it's coming through choppy.
Oh,
it's just maybe the bandwidth is not, maybe we don't have enough bandwidth or something. It doesn't, I don't think it's coming in smooth. Hit play again.
Okay, let's try it again. How's that? Is that better?
It's, I think, choppy.
Incredible. You want me to try another one?
No, yeah, let's see something else. What else do you got? That one is just,
Okay.
it kind of like chops. I think it's the bandwidth. We have like, you know, maybe your are you on high-speed internet out there?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. You want me to put it up again? Try it one more time?
Sure, why not?
Okay, let's try it one more time. Let's see if it works.
Like, you know, your computer is trying to play video and trying to show it through Zoom at the same time, and it may not just, you may not be powerful enough, your computer, to do both. Like your video card may not be powerful enough.
All right, you want to try another one?
Yeah, let's try another one. You got to
Let's see
become,
if you can see the fairy here in this one.
you've got to
Ready?
become a video gamer. They use speed computers.
Is that better?
Oh yeah, I see the light in there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and then I got one where the light goes out, and so that's the fairy portal right there. And they you can see the light on top where it goes up and down.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see that pretty clear, right?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe it's just that one footage.
I still comes in choppy though. It's like it goes frame by frame. Chick, 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 chick. It doesn't play it smooth. If that makes sense. When you go back later after the podcast and rewatch this, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Okay.
And it's
All right.
nothing. I mean, it just is what it is. I'm just saying, most likely that the computer that you on, probably your video card is not powerful enough to kind of play it and transmit it through the internet at the same time.
Would it be better to go to YouTube and pull it from YouTube?
No, we're fine here. It's okay. Okay,
Okay,
what else do you
okay,
got?
and
That
here's
was pretty
the-
cool. We could see that though.
Yeah, and here's the fairy portal. Let me move this over.
Is that the blue? Is that the portal's the blue thing?
Yeah, no, the green thing in the middle. See the green thing in the middle?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a portal that Shekinah, we knew there was a fairy portal behind the house. Two of the local psychics here told us there was a fairy portal, and Shekinah went out and found it.
What is the blue
She took
thing?
the picture, and that's it right there.
What is the blue thing in the picture?
I don't know what that is. I think I don't know.
Hmm.
Yeah, but that green right there, yeah, that's exactly it. And
That's
then I'm hoping this plays because this is Rosie. She flies across the screen.
okay.
So I called her in.
Mhm.
Now on YouTube, it's slowed down. They slow it down.
Uh,
You see her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something went by the screen really quickly.
Yeah, you know, maybe you know what? Here, I'll play it for you in slow motion.
And now, what is
You
Rosie?
see her right there? You see her?
Yeah. What is Rosie? Are you saying
Rosie is a fairy.
As a fairy.
She's a fairy that hangs out here, and you could see right through her. You see her? You see her wings? She's got big wings. You can see right through her.
Yeah.
She hangs out here.
do you or Shekinah ever communicate with her?
She comes in. I have a video. I have a tape of her talking to us, but no one seems to hear it. You got to put it up to your ear.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Hey, Rosie," I said, "This is Shekinah." And then she goes, "I'm Rosie." We have it. I could play it to you, but no one seems to be able to hear it.
In your screen, when even you're not playing, there's like something that's goes across the middle lower third of your screen. Do you know what
Right.
that is? It's like something like as if your lens is dirty or something. Do you see what I'm talking about?
Something that goes.
It's constantly there in the screen. In that
Yeah,
video.
I don't see anything.
It was just in that video. That's okay. Let's see what else you've got.
Yeah, that's basically it. If you want to see Shekinah play the crystal bowls, we have one that's coming down.
All right.
At 6 seconds, it goes flying down, and it's incredible. Here, let's try this one. This is Shekinah. Right? You see the top?
Yeah, I see it go across. Cool.
And you can see her. She's that big, and she goes flying down the thing.
Play it again.
Okay.
Go like this. Too bad we can't hear the bowls though.
Oh, here. I
Okay, did it just go by again?
Yeah. You want to do it one more time?
Right.
Okay.
There it goes.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So some people can't hear her voice. We could try it if you want to see, if you want to hear her voice.
Yeah, let's try.
Try it.
Yeah, although
so
I'm not even hearing the audio from her bowls for some reason.
Oh. It says here that it says here everything's on.
Maybe what it is it won't play because the audio is being overridden by your microphone.
Okay, all right.
But that's okay. You know, it's all right. It's not, you know, what is this on your thing that says interdimensional footage? I see that on your desktop.
Oh, that's that. I was up at, they call it the arch. And this big black beam came in, and I had my druid outfit on, and I started doing this thing, and this big black thing shot down. You want to see it?
Yeah.
And it's incredible. Now, if you slow it down, okay, and then I'll show it to you first.
Now this is in Sedona?
Yes, yeah, you got to get permission from the rangers to go there. To watch when I move my arms around, look to the right, and it shoots up, and I can slow it down for you and show it to you. Right? You see it?
No, I totally missed it.
Do it again. Here.
Where am I supposed to be looking?
To the right, right? Now.
I'm missing it. Pause it on there.
See
oh,
right
there it is. Yeah, I see it now.
Okay, and now if you watch it, it goes right into the rocks. Okay, it goes right in the rock. You see how it goes in the rock? Right there?
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes right in the rocks. And if you go back, if you scroll back and look at it, when it comes around the corner here, it flies through these like right here. Okay, now see here. See, you see it right there?
Yeah. Now, is that possible that that's a bird?
They said it's ET because if you look back right here, let me show you. If I go back, when it first comes in, yeah, it was just up, and you could see that it's not a bird. Here, hold on. It's really hard for me to do it. Okay, so right there.
There it is.
You see it over there?
And then over there on the right.
Yeah, that's no bird.
Is that okay? Don't move it. Don't do anything. Now it's right in front of the rocks to the right, like right in front of that shadowed rocks.
Yes.
Some people in the chat think it's a bat, but I don't know.
Yeah, but how could it go into the rocks?
Yeah. Oh, it goes right into the rocks. Huh? Is that what you're saying?
Right in the rocks. Watch. Now watch it now. Okay, it's right there. Now watch. Right there. You're watching it?
Yes.
You see right there?
Right there. Yeah.
It goes boom.
Okay, go fast. Oh wait. Okay, go one forward. Now one more forward.
It's hard to do it on it.
There's there.
It's right there. It's above my head.
Right. And then you go one more forward and it's at the rock.
It's right above my head.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that doesn't look like a bat there.
No, it's not a bat. It actually came home with me and followed me home.
Oh, wow.
It's a cave.
No, it's not a cave. It's like if you can go back, show what you're standing at, like you're standing in this rock arch, right?
Right. Yes, sir.
Can you go back and show the arc?
Yes. And then if you watch it, they go vertical, they go up and down, they start making all kinds of, they go up and down, vertical, they're shooting everywhere. Okay, so I'll show you, look. So boom, into the rock. Okay, and here's the arch. Now keep watch real closely because it goes up and down vertically. Oh, it's not here. Oh, you know what? This is a small one. I'm sorry. This is the edited version.
That's okay. How did you get? So when you get permission to go there, are the camp? What do you call those? The camp.
The rangers.
The rangers. Are they there with you, or they just said, "Okay, you can go"?
No. I met one of them. I go to the land a lot, to the creek in Oak Creek, and one of them plays drums.
Oh, cool.
And we buddied up, and he's like, whatever you need. And then I went to Slide Rock, and Shakeen and I saw the arch, And we said, hey, we want to hike up there. And he goes, Tim, and it is scary. It is scary. Some of the footage we have on YouTube, the rocks have a lot of amazing crystals in them with black, and all the footage is on YouTube. So one day he said, you could come today, and we don't want any trouble. We don't want, because it's a vertical, it's a straight up hike. And you could easily fall off the mountain and get hurt easily.
Wow.
1 foot slip done and you're out of there, man. You're down. And he trusted me. And then two of the women rangers, they were like, are you sure you want him to go up there? And Blake was like, let him go, man.
Now, have you ever seen UFOs while you've been out there?
Yes. It's called Thunder Mountain. I've had some so I gotta tell you this. So Shakina, when we first started dating, she took me to Thunder Mountain, and I was up there and I started getting white flashes were like going out of my eyes into the mountain. And that night we went back. I couldn't sleep all night, right? And I thought I was like the adrenaline rush. And I laid in bed all night with these flashes. And I woke up that morning and I actually ran back to the mountain to get that rush again. and when the vortex comes in, oh boy, wow, it's something. Thunder, if you come out, we'll take you. Shakina will take you to Thunder Mountain.
All right, well, we got to make a date on that. Let me ask you this. What are you doing with your hands anyways? Were you praying, meditating, or what were you doing at the time?
Yes. I just love nature, and I picked it up from Shakina, how to call it all in. But I think that it saw that, wondered, why I was out there in a druid coat, doing this thing, right? And I think that's why it came in.
That's
because it's like maybe I thought I was a star child or something, or a comrade, but it came right in. And like I said, in the other footage, it goes up and down vertically and horizontally. It just goes, you see it, and it's magical.
I didn't even pay attention to what you were wearing until you called it a druid coat. I thought it was just a hoodie, and I took a better look at it, and I was like, wow, that's really nice. I like that.
Yeah, it's from Ireland. It's Celtic fusion. It's pagan clothing.
It's great.
From Ireland, and I love the coat, and I just happened to wear it that day, right?
I've got to guess. I need to get like a summer house out there, so I think I need to be in Sedona with all you guys.
I think, you know what? I'm feeling it. I think you should come out and let us take you out to some of these spots. We could take you here too. And we could take you to Thunder Mountain and Cathedral. I got a view right now of Bell Rock. I live on a really high hill, and Bell Rock is right in front of my house. I have amazing footage. When I first moved in, I was filming, and the Indians came in. This is the Indian portal. Shakina said that this portal runs through our home right here. And 5 houses down, there's been a lot of activity, pictures going off the walls. Yeah.
Do you have high-speed internet there?
I do. I have it.
Like Google Fiber or any of those kind of fiber type
internet. I have
internets?
high-speed internet here. Yeah.
Yeah, because we live in a temporary place right now, and I could live anywhere as long as I have high-speed internet. And actually, the other day I was looking at a property, maybe it was even today, in Prescott, but that's not Sedona. You know what I mean?
I used to live in Prescott, and trust me, I mean, it's an hour drive over.
Oh, okay, that's too far away.
If you want to be with your star family, this community they're also highly awakened. We help each other. It's a very, very blessed community, and they keep the vibe as high as they can. Behind my house, they come up and they gridded the mountain with crystals, so this neighborhood would be blessed.
So I'm going to put it out there to the universe that maybe something will come available for us.
All you got to do is ask, and the universe will answer.
That'll be awesome. Well, before I got to run soon because I got 3 people waiting on me. But 2 things. Did we schedule a date with Shakina?
I thought, now don't.
We
quote
might
me,
have. I don't know.
fifth.
We may have. I'm not constantly 24 hours a day, obviously, but I'm scheduling people all the time because
I think it's
I
the
have a
fifth.
daily show.
She's wonderful.
I don't have her in my calendar. Maybe she's emailed me and I just got to put her in.
I think it's the 5th.
Okay. And it's empty, so I probably just I need to enter it in my calendar.
I think it's May 5th, and she had 3 near-death experiences.
Mm-hmm.
She's highly connected. Hey, she puts up with me, and that's a lot. She's a Blu-ray, and I'm an indigo, and for her to put up with me and all my energy, that's a lot for her to handle.
All right, I'm going to stop that. All right, well, listen up. We'll be seeing her soon, and thank you for coming and sharing with us today, Tim. We appreciate you, and we wish you the best.
Thank you. We're going to see you soon. You're coming.
Right. All right, well, you take care.
All right.
Bye-bye. And we'll give him a big round of applause, and he already removed himself. All right, so this has been a real interesting night tonight. We've seen fairies, we've seen orbs, we've seen an interdimensional being or an ET or something. And next up is Samsung SMS136DL.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
I need you to pause the or turn off the video, the YouTube audio.
I wasn't. You weren't done with the last video. I wasn't expecting to come on.
Oh, that's okay. That's all right.
I'm enjoying listening to his story. I've been to Sedona. I've been the whole state of Arizona.
Oh, wow.
Love Arizona. So multiple times I've traveled to Arizona and stayed out there. I've
never been. I may have driven right by Sedona, but I've never stopped there. I was driving from Flagstaff down to Phoenix, but.
Oh, okay.
But
I've camped out in Flagstaff many times, out in right off of Lake Mary Road, out in the National Forest there. Sedona, we camped out there, and that freaking night, we ended up waking up in the morning, and we just hear this. And we're waking up and we look up and there's hot air balloons everywhere. The whole sky was full of hot air balloons. It was so cool.
Yeah. Now, I think you mentioned that you travel a lot in an RV, right?
Yes, I do. Full time.
You're full time?
Yep, for 8 years.
How is that? How is it living that lifestyle? Do you feel safe doing it?
I'll never go back to any other lifestyle.
Really?
I'll never ever go back to any other way of living. There's such a freedom to it. That's the only way I can describe it. There's just such a freedom to it. So
are you doing it alone as a single woman?
Well, I have when I started on the road, my son was 3 years old. That travels with me full time. I have other children too, but I have some kids in Florida. I have some, that's where we're from, is Florida, Southwest Florida, Naples. And then I have some kids in North Carolina, and then I have one kid here in Colorado. And then I had a brother out in Arizona. So I was just doing this big, gigantic, constant loop going from state to state, back to Florida, back to North Carolina, back to Colorado, out to Arizona. I've just been doing that for eight years. Like wherever I want to go, I go.
That's great.
Whenever I want to go, I go.
Is it true that it takes a lot of gasoline to get from point A to point B? So when you go, you have to stay a while to make it worth it.
Yeah, I mean, you don't, like, if you're traveling from if you're trying to get to a destination, yeah, it's going to be like, it's almost $500 for me to go from Colorado to North Carolina. So same with Arizona. If I take the 40 all the way down to North Carolina, it's close to $500 to go across. So you generally want to try to stay, pick different areas of the state to try to stay an amount of time, I guess you could say.
And I think you
So,
said last time that sometimes you even sleep in Walmart parking lots, right?
yeah, well, that's only if I'm like trying to get to, like, if I'm in Colorado or I'm like, all right, I got to go see my boys in North Carolina right now. Like, if I'm like in that mentality, I got to see my kids right now, kind of thought pattern, then it will be, I'm trying to get there now.
Hmm.
I'm not looking to see any sights or, do anything in between. So generally, I won't go out to some forest or something like that. I will just, every time I stop, it'll be at a Walmart or, somewhere where you can park just for the night, just so I can get back on the road to go.
Hmm.
But normally I'm out in some kind of forest somewhere. I mean, people don't even know that when you go to like campgrounds, like paid campgrounds, there is nothing special about paid campgrounds. When you go to the campgrounds that the government basically has set up as free camping or off-grid camping, you know what I mean? Where there's no amenities basically, you will find yourself in the most beautiful places that you've ever seen in your life, and you won't see it unless you go to free camping.
Hmm.
You gotta,
Wow.
yeah, like there's so many things that I've got to experience and see, and it's so spiritually powerful. Like New Mexico's very spiritual. It's very
Yeah.
spiritual there.
Yeah.
And in Arizona as well. I've went from one end of Arizona to the other end of Arizona. I stayed in Lake Havasu multiple times, and that's like 15 minutes from the border of California.
Hmm.
There's
Yeah.
nothing special though about California.
Right. Someone in the chat wants to know, how many kids do you have?
I have 8 children, 6
Wow.
boys and 2
Good
girls.
for
So my
you.
girls are in Florida, 4 boys are in North Carolina. I have one that travels with me full time. He's 12 now. He was 3 when we started. And then my oldest son is 27. He's here in Denver, Colorado. So
Oh, that's great. That's great. Well,
yes.
I'm sorry we got way off subject of probably what you wanted to talk about, but I have just a little bit of time. Do you have something
Yeah,
quickly you'd like to share?
yep, it's actually short. I wasn't thinking that I was going to be on here for the full 15 minutes, but I just wanted to talk about spiritual, like a demonic spiritual experience that I had way back when. It was in 2004, I believe it was. Yeah, 2004. And I had this experience where I was sleeping and I woke up because my whole face was engulfed with smoke. All I could smell was smoke, and it was like literally choking me. So, instantly I'm wide awake. I jump up out of bed, and the smoke is just like engulfing me. So I just start screaming. I'm like, the baby's room is on fire, because my two boys that are 18 and 19 right now, they were like 2 and 3 at that time, or maybe 1 and 2. They're a year apart, so I don't know. I can't remember exactly how old they were, but they were still babies. One was still in a crib and one was in a bunk bed. But I started screaming. I'm like, the baby's room is on fire. And my husband at the time jumps up out of bed and he's like, what's going on? I'm like, the smoke. Can't you smell the smoke? It's all over. Like, it was literally consuming me. So he runs out of the room, goes into the baby's room, comes back, and he was like, nothing's on fire, Tammy. Everything's okay. And I'm like, I still smell it. You don't smell the smoke. And it just happened to be that we were out camping like 2 months later out in the Everglades, because I'm from Southwest Florida, so the Everglades are right there. So we were out camping in the Everglades, and we ended up bringing a TV and a VCR and was hooking it up to like a plug-in thing to the battery. And we watched The Exorcism of Emily Rose. I don't know if you've seen that movie. Oh my gosh. The exact same scenery when the girl was inside her dorm room this big, huge hover of black smoke hovered over her body, and she jumped up and like freaked out because of the smoke. She thought the room was like on fire, and it was the exact same scenery. And when I saw that, I knew that my experience was real, because it was literally 2 months later that I watched The Exorcism of Emily Rose. And I was like, that had to have happened to somebody else in real life for them to make that movie the way that they did, because I was so traumatized by that experience. And then when I saw it in The Exorcist of Emily Rose, I was like, oh my gosh, it was real, you know, because I couldn't get past it. Like, I was still traumatized when I'm watching The Exorcism of Emily Rose, because it was such a traumatic experience for me. The smoke was so real, and it was so strong. It was like I was putting my face in a campfire, and the smoke's coming at my face like this. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So I just wanted to share that experience, because it was a pretty profound experience for me personally. Like, I have to battle like the darkness and the light like nonstop throughout my whole entire life. So I'm very familiar with darkness, and I'm very familiar with the light. And it's like it's constantly trying to do something to me somewhere at some angle at all times. So it's like I've gotten better now that I'm older, but I was younger then, so I didn't really know how to fight off the darkness, as well as I do now. So, But anyway, so that was my experience.
Well, Tammy, thank you for sharing it with us. Good
You're
seeing
welcome.
you. Have a great rest of your
Yes,
weekend.
you
And
too, you too.
take care.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye, and a round of applause for Tammy. All right, next up is Mr. Kayakers. That's what it says here now. I know that's not the way we pronounce his name, but it's here as Kayakers. We'll have to ask him. I think he was Kayakers last time.
Hello, Jeff.
Hello there, darling. Are you going to be juggling some orbs?
No way. At my magic balls, yeah. I'll tell you a secret, Jeff. A very secret that's been passed down for many generations, but only in the dark. I can only do it in the dark.
This is a night of orbs. There you go.
The night of orbs, darling.
It looks beautiful.
I went to a comedy club the other day and I did juggling. Yay for me.
Now, I was wondering, why are you going by Stephen Kayakers?
I can't tell you, Jeff. I'd like to tell you, but I can't. I'm under super secret protection.
Ah. It's interesting. When you were holding it up, it made one side of your face green and one side pink. Yeah.
Yes.
It's like one of Batman's nemesis, Two-Face. Yeah, that's a new one. Can you do Batman? Have you ever considered doing Batman or the Joker or the Riddler?
I can do the Joker, darling. I can do the... Hey, what a surprise! What a surprise! But yeah, I just I go for what I do is I go for I call it walk and talks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
talk
about my experience.
How often are you posting those walk and talks? Daily?
Well, I just put one up today. I just put one up, and I talked about. So they put me into this. I call it game world.
Mm-hmm. The Matrix.
Well, see, someone had a discussion about, it's like in philosophy, it's like, who created the creator?
Right.
Who designed this whole thing? And at the end of Contact, there's they say, well, who built this system? And they said, we don't know. We don't know. And that was kind of like the game world I was in, because they had you could go through, like, you had an oversoul, and that oversoul, you could have any form you wanted. And then they would go to different, you go through portals and then into different game worlds. And they said, we don't know how many games have been played, but in this one, this was the Earth World scenario, and people would come in and they'd be kind of like a game master. And the guy had, it was Mary, it was her will, and the father was the grand designer. And we all had oversoul kind of abilities, and mine was.
When you say oversoul, do you also, is that the same as higher self?
I don't know. This is, the higher self was never ever used, but I say we have a greater mind. We have a mind, but there's a greater mind, and this mind. This is, I think, the most mind blowing thing is that we don't know. No one's in control of it, so all this phenomenon happens, and I say this is how I word it. It plays into our belief system. So I thought I had a spirit with me. I put up a picture. I told you that picture of a woman who deceased.
Right.
And someone was pressing down on my bed, and I thought, and I connected the dots because I met someone where she was from in South Africa. I can't do a South African accent, but I go for the guy from South Africa, and he would say, "Let's play one ball by the rules." I also did a joke where I said, Sean Connery, he was a Russian sub commander, and he said, "Hold my bagpipes there, laddie, while I put on my kilt." He does whatever he wants to do, any type of movie he wants to do. See, some people can just do whatever they want. They can just pull up their balls any time of the day, and just people love them. So I like to go around and entertain, because I say God changed me, but we don't know who's changing us. We don't know. They said, people come back, you ask, did they get special abilities? But they said, who's giving these abilities? The savant syndrome and whatnot. Like, how is, there's lots of different, and they're not all like special abilities. There's like a foreign accent syndrome. It's like, how does that happen? Darling, sometimes I'll just let them take over my voice, and they'll just start talking however they want to. So when I go for these little walk and talks or start doing comedy, they'll just take me over and they say, "You're going to be very sassy today."
No, you're in your room, right? You're not outside, are you?
That's where I do this. But my internet's so bad here. I say my whole life is like a paradox. My oversoul is a paradox. Because I said my whole life is like a paradox. It's like I'm really smart, talented, but I'm
going to read a comment from the chat from Alien222 says, "I like him. He's kind of like Robin Williams."
Oh, hey, Robin Williams. Oh, in the mind interface, all these comedians like Bob Saget and Robin Williams and Bob Hope, and in the comedy thing, they comedians love getting in another person's jokes. I said, I just need three things in life: health, hope, and things to do. But then I put Bob Hope, and I said, I just need three things in life: health, hope, Bob Hope, and things to do.
So how often are you putting these posting these walk and talks? Daily?
I try to do it daily if I can. But like, people can't see. You're seeing the top end of me, like how bad my life is a nightmare. It's wrecked. And now I used to hear from Mary, and Mary's voice was so wonderful. You could sit there and listen to it all day long. But now I have called the mind jackers. I don't know what to call these people, but they said, we're giving you the belief system that represents the truth. And because like no one's behind the wheel, there's no God, but keep praying though, because we don't know how it works. So like you might manifest something, because I had seen a woman in a long time and I started praying. She came back into my life, but they can't fix her, like, because people still have their free will. They're still going to do what they want, but they're not making good decisions. Because I said, why doesn't everyone get mind jacked? Have this voice corrects them about everything they do. And they said they don't want it. I said, I wish I could I don't want to punish anyone. I don't want to get revenge, but I want people to self-correct. Yeah. If they do something wrong, like apologize, make it right.
Right.
And they would teach. Yeah, I said, God taught me all these lessons. Like, it's not a big deal to apologize. Hey, sorry, did I harm you? But people don't want to do that.
Now, are you posting anything else or only walk and talks?
I do some juggling. I don't know. I was posting some juggling on TikTok. It's something to do.
I wonder how you never know what platform would work. How does your juggling do on TikTok?
It's funny because I'll get comments like, this ought to get 200 million or 20 million views.
That's cool.
happens. Sometimes they'll hit the algorithm thing and blow up and they'll get 20 million views.
Are there a lot of jugglers there?
Oh yeah, and there's people that are much better than me, but they're not doing what I do. Because like I say, I wish I was making skits. I write down skits all the time. Like one of the skits I wrote down, some guy's banging on a door at, an apartment, and it's God's door, and no one's answering. Someone peeks their head out and they say, my name is Reality. I'd like to introduce myself to you. Maybe I could help you. God's a little busy right now. Maybe let's figure something out here.
All right. Well, let me see. Here, give me 1 second here. I had to see where I'm at on time. I'm doing okay. So, do you have, you were talking about that basically there's no truth. It's just whatever you believe is true, right?
Well, this is how I worded it, is that there's like things we can prove and see and touch. And then there's the revelation part, where we're using remote viewing. We're using, I know they don't like Ouija boards, but spirit communication or something like that. Then we're going into the realm of, you don't know if this is true. This is what you believe. I think you had a person on, they said they're telling what they believe. And I was telling people what I believed too. But it's like in that world, we don't know. We just believe. So is there a truth? Is there a truth? I think I have the truth, but it doesn't, on one hand, it doesn't matter, because it's like, what do we want in life? It comes back to that. What do you want in life? And so I want to be happy and enjoy life. It doesn't matter what I believe so much as how we treat each other, type of thing.
Yeah. All right. Well, Stephen, I've got to do what I've got to do.
Do what you got to do, man.
Do you have one last message for everybody today?
I love them very much. I love them.
That's a great message.
Bless everyone.
All right. Yeah, check out my TikToks. How about that? I got really good. Great job.
God bless.
All right, Stephen, God bless you. We'll see you later, bud.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And a big round of applause for Stephen. And I wanted to say this. I didn't want to interrupt Stephen. I didn't want to mention it until now. Not today's video, but the last two videos, I've kind of experimenting with, just while the person's talking about their NDE, putting a little B-roll video. And so I put like a few images in there, and I get mixed messages. Some people like it, some people don't like it. And if you've seen those videos, I'm trying to decide if we want to keep doing it or not. So do you guys like it or not? Because sometimes I thought, or at least I think sometimes it's nice that you kind of break up the visual a little bit by kind of adding a little, these little visuals. If you like it and want me to continue it, put yes in the chat. If you don't like it, put no. Either way is fine with me. And we'll see what goes on for that. All right, let's bring in Linda. Doing what? Again, in the not today's video, but the two videos before that, I put like a little bit of video in when the guest is talking about their NDE, and let's say they were like, there was one of them that there was a C-section. So I had a view of like I had some extra footage of like of showing a baby during being born via cesarean section. So you see that. And so when she's talking about that, I kind of plug in that video, and I just thought it might be more interesting. And I get some compliments for it and some complaints about it. So I'm just kind of trying to decide if I want to keep doing it or not. Either way is totally fine with me. So that's why I thought I'd ask you guys. There's 1, 2, 3 yeses, 1, 2 no's, 4, 5, 6 yeses, 7. Well, there's 3 no's, another yes. And someone says, I hate it. Thank you. I enjoy the simplicity. Maybe green light. Yes. I don't even know what B-Roy is. Yuck. That's a strong no. Yes. I liked it. It cheapened the interviews. No. Yes, it's okay. So, it's about half and half. And see, some are great, not a fan. I would say it's probably 60-40. 60 yes and 40 no is where I'm looking at now. All right, well, it's going to have to be a editorial decision. I'm visualizing every time in the story. I'm a visual person, so I'm visualizing every time someone, so it wouldn't bother me. No, there are other channels that use tons of B-roll footage, and it's a major distraction. No. Please no see. Well, you don't really see, that too much of it. Poll. Yeah, I should have put a poll on here. If you go back and watch yesterday's video with Terry Yoder, you'll see it there. Hey, what's going on, bud?
Hey Jeff, how you doing?
I wasn't expecting you to see. I wasn't expecting you to. I saw Linda's name and I was expecting a Linda.
What she is?
There she is. Are you going to propose tonight or what? We're waiting on you guys.
Not tonight, but
not tonight. We are waiting on you for the live proposal here on the show. Where's the ring?
I know. It's coming. It's
coming. Okay. I don't know. If I'm putting you on the spot, I'll stop.
It's okay.
I don't want everybody to think I'm bullying you guys.
No, it's okay.
All right. So what do you got to share with us tonight?
Yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about soul contracts.
Do you recall making one?
Yeah, yes, I do. I recall being in this space where it's like the way I've experienced it. It was there was like I was in a in the other side in the afterlife. There is like classrooms, and kind of like the dimensions. Then you like go in a classroom, like in a chamber of light, and then those are your classrooms. Now in your classrooms, there's people that are your kind of like soul tribe, you want to call it that term,
like your soul group,
like your soul group, exactly. So then you're able to make the way I remember, the way I've experienced it through my ND and my awakening was that we were able to look at different scenarios. And I remember coming out of that classroom and going into another chamber and kind of like playing kind of like in a big screen, like a multi-dimensional space screen and looking at different scenarios where we were like, okay, like what about like let's look at, and then I remember kind of like having categories or sections where like, okay, what are we going to accomplish in this lifetime, and with this soul contract. So then, what lessons are we gonna focus on? So then, so then you kind of like, agreements on, the soul lessons that you're gonna go through, the life experience you're gonna go through, all the learning that you're gonna teach each other, from kindness, compassion, integrity, forgiveness, letting go. So all the lessons that we're here to learn. So we were like, so I remember looking at the scenario, like, okay, this is what we're going to learn. And then this is what we're going to accomplish in this lifetime through this soul contract that we're going to learn, and then also just not just the soul contract within that souls that you agree with, but also then, for yourself as well. So, but I remember always, going in there into that chamber with different souls. And then kind of like going and like, okay, you'll be my mom in this lifetime, and then I'll be your son, and then you'll be my girlfriend, my wife, my parents, my whatever. And then I remember some of the soul contracts were also for some time, like, okay, well, this soul contract will be for a year, for two, within timelines or however long the timelines are going to be for, and kind of like agreeing that at that particular soul contract we were going to learn these lessons. And then that's okay. And then you go on to doing many, because we have many soul contracts, with many different people, right? And everyone in your life, more or less, the most important people in your life have been, they're all there to teach you something, even though it's the people you don't like or you have problems with. At the end, sometimes too, they're there to teach you something. And then I remember, and then I remember going back to that chamber, then by myself, And you know, after going through many souls, and then we were able to analyze what the soul contracts we were going to have and the lessons we were going to learn. And after that, I also went in there on my own and in this chamber of light, where I was able to, you know, to sort of, and then, you know, we choose the life. So, okay, so in this lifetime, I'm going to be born in this country. And then, you know, I'm going to, you know, you're going to choose the scenarios besides people's contracts. Then you can sort of choose like, okay, in this lifetime, I'm going to accomplish certain things for my, you know, like maybe I'm going to start a company, maybe I'm going to start a project to help humanity. Or maybe I'm just gonna work in any kind of work. It doesn't matter. I'm just gonna focus on you know, I'm gonna have this like a really easy life, or I'm gonna make it a really challenging life. So then it's that space of you know, of where you're able to choose you know, your lifetime. But I remember it was really cool to see the categories, like, you know, like in the computer, and see things, all the accomplishments I'm gonna accomplish, you know, all the attributes I will accomplish in this one lifetime. You know, then I remember like lining them up, and they're like, okay, well, I'm going to be helping people because I volunteer with children with, you know, with disabilities and with people with disabilities and hospices. So then I remember looking at all the people I'm going to be helping. So then I was like, okay, so I'm looking at all my accomplishments. I'm going to be traveling because I travel a lot too. And then, you know, and then I'm going to be helping these people. Then okay. And then I look at other category, which are the, you know, perhaps the lessons I'm going to be learning, you know, and then maybe the karma that's balancing up with some souls. And so I was able to see all that layer down. And then at the end, I was like, okay, you know, this is the time frame within soul contracts as well. Like, okay, in this soul contract, I will have it for a couple of years, for longer years. And that at the end, you know, I understood that everything was for the soul evolution of everybody, you know, not just you, but for everybody. How it was all connected, it was all one, and that everyone was learning from each other. And then also right before we, you know, I remember being in a circle with all the souls that were going to come down. Mm-hmm. And we were all like looking at each other in a circle, like, you know, before we were coming down, and we were so excited and happy. Like we couldn't wait to come down. We're like, oh my God, we'll see you down there. You know, like I'll see you. And then you also sort of set up, you know, like scenarios that how you're going to meet. Like, okay, we'll meet here and at the crosswalk. And you know, that's how I met Linda. We were like crossing the crosswalk, and I met her.
You know, I was thinking about asking, do you think Linda is a member of your soul group, or she's a new spirit that you met while you're here?
Yeah, no. Yeah, she's like, of course, she's like in my soul group for sure.
Oh, great.
And, you know, so we have many lifetimes that we have together. So yeah. It's pretty magical for sure.
Somebody here in the chat had a good question. I don't know if I can get back to it, but they were basically saying, do you think that you can breach a soul contract?
Yeah, again, like I mentioned before, so soul contracts are only for a certain amount of time, you know, so then you say, you know, okay, in this particular lesson, you know, with this particular soul, you know, we're going to, it's only going to be for a year or 6 months, 5 years or whatever. So you kind of agree. It's not that you're breaking the contract. It's just, that's the contract. You know, it's like if you, any contract, you know, I'm going to buy from you, I want to be your buyer, your seller for a year. And then that ends, you know what I'm saying? So then you can go buy from somebody else or whatever. So it's not that you're breaking the contract. It's that the contract comes to an end. And then, you know, because that's the agreement that was before. So then, okay, then you can start your new contract with other people.
I recorded a video this morning with an NDEer who was talking about soul contracts, and he was also talking about the body that he was choosing. And it was also interesting that if you choose this body, well, it's not going to really work out with this soul contract. So you had to choose the body with the contract in a way. Did you do anything like that? Do you recall choosing what body you had, what hair color, whether you're male, female?
I don't remember those details. Mm-hmm. Not really. I don't remember those specific details.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you don't remember them, or maybe it didn't matter.
I don't remember those details specifically, but I just remember, like, you know, I remember kind of like saying that I was going to travel and I was going to have a good time and that I was going to learn lessons, but I don't remember exactly.
Do you remember whether you were going to have certain things happen to you, like you were going to sprain your ankle or break an arm or anything like that?
I don't remember that. Not that I recall, you know, that particular. I think it was more like certain things like that I was going to travel, and then that I was, meet, certain people in my life and the lessons I was going to learn. Mm-hmm. And stuff like that. So I don't have a very, in-depth recall. But one other thing too that I like to mention here, and again, this is my perspective, is that, when people have deja vus,
yeah,
because, everybody has deja vu. I mean, more or less.
Right.
So for me, like when I was in that space, like I said, in this space where you go in there and you're kind of like, you can be there with your guide or you can be there by yourself. At the end, your guide is your higher self. But, some people will say, I was there with my guide, but that's really your soul. So, and then in that space, I remember just, God, I forgot what I was going to say, but,
well, what do you think about? I'm going to ask you this about deja vus, because different.
deja vus. I'm sorry.
You had a deja vu.
Yeah, the deja vus. I'm sorry. Yeah. So so before you come down, you see the whole movie of your life because you planned it ahead of time, right? So that's the way I've seen. So then that movie, all we really are doing, it's like this. It's like a DVD. That you're playing the DVD down here in this realm. So then that's why people have deja vus, is because it's just your DVD. You see, like you saw it before you came down, because you wrote it. It's like a program, right? So then, the Matrix. So you wrote the program, and you have already seen it. So that's why when people have deja vus, it's like, oh, wait a minute, I've already seen this. That's because you wrote the program, or you did just had seen your life review ahead of time before we even come down. As a movie, so all we're doing is we're playing that movie, that DVD. Now, the reason we don't remember specifically is because we wouldn't go through life experiences, right? Because if you had met someone and the life experience was really challenging and difficult, then you would have been like, oh, I'm not gonna get together with that person, or I'm not gonna go that way, So then at the end, that's why we don't remember, because otherwise, then you won't go through the lesson. So so that's from what my experience is, that the deja vus are really more or less, except this is my my belief, and my the way I've interpreted it is that it's because you have already seen the DVD of your life.
Right. It makes sense. I mean, I've had different explanations of it. That's the first time I've heard it your way, and it makes sense.
That's the way I understand it.
When you said The Matrix, it just reminded me of something, and I don't know if anybody else has seen, but I happened to rent HBO Max about a month ago because I wanted to watch a certain series, and my wife and I, we binge watch a lot, so we'll finish a series pretty quickly, and I had the rest of the month to watch movies, and we watched the latest Matrix movie. I think it's Resurrection or something like that.
Oh yeah, the fourth one. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have seen that, but it was very interesting for me watching it, because I saw all the other ones a long time ago before I ever started this podcast. So now, after doing the podcast and having all these discussions, especially about Matrix universes and simulations, and it was almost a little freaky for me now watching this movie, a fresh one, from this viewpoint from the podcast that I'm always talking to people about, And I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it was pretty wild.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. When I saw the fourth one that it came out, I saw that too. It was really interesting because I remember a part where in the movie, they show the whole, all of a sudden, I can't remember exactly, but they show like the city or whatever, the streets and everything. And then it all disappears, right? Like a hologram. And that's how I've experienced it too. Like when I mentioned in your show that I saw one of my future lifetimes when I lived in London, in a future lifetime. And it was the same, exactly like in the movie. It was like a hologram appearing all of a sudden. So I was in the Matrix, in a future lifetime. And then because I was living in England, and then I was in London taking the underground, and then all of a sudden everything started changing. So the whole Matrix, because I went into the future, into a future lifetime. And so it was really incredible. So I remember when I saw that movie, it was exactly how I experienced it. It's just like a hologram appearing, then I realized that I was in the future. And I was in a future lifetime, not even in this lifetime, but in a future lifetime. Wow. And then it all disappeared again, like in the movie, exactly like in the movie. So I was like, oh, when I saw the movie, I was like, that's exactly how I experienced it. So yeah, pretty fascinating.
Yeah, it is. All right, guys. Well, listen, thank you guys for coming and hanging out with us. I don't think we saw you last week, did we?
No, not last week. Can't remember. I think we were doing something.
That's okay. Well, all right. Well, come back and visit us. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us. We wish you guys the best, and you guys take care.
Thank you, Jeff.
All right.
See you soon.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
And congratulations, and thank you for doing the show, because it means a lot for a lot of people.
Oh, thank you.
And
Thank
for
you
us
so
too,
much.
okay?
I'm glad to hear that. Thank you.
Yeah, no, really.
Thank you.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank
buddy.
you.
Take
All right,
care.
bye-bye.
Bye.
And that was a nice big round of applause for them. All right, so we went over about 30 minutes. It's been a busy night tonight, which is great. I love it when it's busy. I mean, I don't even have time for announcements or anything, which is really great. Oh, Leslie Kings was here. For some reason, this is like doing weird stuff. Let me kind of click on this, and then it's not working. I can't get back. Usually I can hover over this and go back and forth, but it's not letting me do that today, unless maybe because of this top chat thing. There we go. Maybe that's it. Yeah, now I can do that. Okay, let me bring me back. Let me see back here. Digital music, an idea. Why not make group meditations with the purpose of bringing joy to the beings in the light? We will do this. I'm all for meditations. If someone wants to come and lead one, I'm happy to help. I have the music to support it. So if anybody here feels like they can come and lead the meditation, we tried it. We did it a few times at the beginning. I think that would be cool to resume it. If anybody's up for that. I've learned a lot about them by listening nightly. What did Julie learn a lot about? I think she was answering someone else. And they're talking about, maybe that was about deja vus. Which one? We live in a temporary place right now. A lot truer than you know. Yes, he's taking it like we're only here temporarily on the planet. Oh yeah, Leslie was here, and I want to say thank you to Leslie for that super thanks. Thank you very much for that. And if you guys want to keep the paranormal party going, then you can just go hang out with Leslie once we finished. He'll be there channeling and playing live music for you. So I think that's the perfect place to keep going if you want to keep doing so. And someone wants to remote view something next week. I need to reach out to him. There's a guy that's maybe the best remote viewer in the world. I forgot his name, but he's with the Monroe Institute. And I need to reach out to him. I thought I did. I think his name is Joe McManigal or something like that. Maybe some of you guys know who he is, but I should reach out to him and get him on. And I think he was maybe in the military or something, or worked at project something for the government, and he's supposed to be maybe the best. So would that be something that you guys would be interested in seeing? There was a bunny right there. There, I haven't seen him. Give me 1 second. Let me bring me back here. I'm trying to answer these comments. You guys are so great at it. It says, Mara, you guys are so great. I love the open mic night. Thank you for creating the space for us to connect at the end of the week. Well, I'm glad. Thank you. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I think that's a good way to put it. I was thinking about that recently. Like, should this be like more of a recap of the week? I don't know. It is in a way, but there's so many guests that come and share that we don't really talk about what we saw during the week. I don't know if you guys want to recap it or not. But that is a good point. Oh, there was something I thought I needed to look over here. Give me 1 second on my notes. All right, so I was telling you guys that we did a live chakra something, and I wanted to say that properly. We did a live chakra reprogramming. That's going to be tomorrow night. So he performed it for me, and he said that it'll still work for you from the video. So if you want to reprogram your chakras tomorrow night, you can do that through the video. And so that's what's on tomorrow's night. And tomorrow's guest, his name is Art Geiser, who's had 39 years experience in the study of NLP, science, psychic development, and energetic and spiritual healing. So he's combined NLP, if you guys know what that is, neuro-linguistic programming, with energy healing. And he calls it energetic NLP. And like I said, we did the chakra reprogramming. So if you are into that, then I definitely recommend you watch it and you can reprogram your chakras. And there was another one, I think it was in Terry's podcast that I posted last night. I thought was really cool. I can tell you, for me, one of my favorite things is when he said about releasing yourself from all your obligations and contracts from all the previous lives you had. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I think another guest of mine had talked about that. Are we still trying to play out all these other contracts and obligations and agreements from past lives that's messing us up in this life? So unfortunately, there's a delay on that. I don't know when you guys are going to hear that. Maybe another hour, not another hour, another minute or so. I'm just going to look at the chat here. And I can tell you one thing that I'm messing around with, I'm experimenting with, and that is that, well, maybe I'll tell you later. Maybe, I guess I could tell you now. One thing that I've been experimenting with is that the Monroe Institute has an app on your phone. And the music on there is amazing. And it's pretty cool. And I've just got into it. There's a lot of them to go through. And I think I've done like each one of them. The ones that I've done, I may have done them once, maybe one of them twice, but it's something that I hope I'll get amazing results that I can report to you guys about. I guess that's it. Let me see what else, if I can just tell you before I go, what we got coming up for you. As I said, the chakra reorganizing is tomorrow. I have let's see, I had another NDE that I recorded, and that'll probably be on Tuesday. I had a NDE that I recorded today that will probably be on Wednesday. On Monday, I'm going to be recording with a woman that was an actress for many, many years on one of the daytime soap operas. And now she's doing spiritual stuff. And if you watch daytime soap operas, you probably would know who she is or who the character is. I don't watch them, so I have no idea. You know, I'm not aware of those, if that makes sense. Anyways, all right, guys, I'm going on and on here. So, thank you guys so much for watching our videos. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us tonight. We really appreciate you guys, and we love you guys, and we wish you the best. So God bless you.